The reason why I'm making this video is because I found a little bit of a hack that's worked for me. Morning everyone, how are we all doing? It's 10:38 on a Monday morning and I'm just sitting down at my laptop to do some work. Now, this is way later than I usually do. I'm usually one of these guys, I've been watching podcasts and reading books where it says like, you don't need 8 hours sleep, you set your alarm for 6 a.m. every day, you have your laptop or your workstation set up, your books around you so that when you come downstairs, you get your glass of water, you take your vitamins, you sit at your desk and you crack on with work. 6 o'clock, beat the dawn, up before everyone else, work while people are sleeping, which is good. And it worked for a little bit, I get that. But it takes its toll on you. Like the first time I'm down, you're like, oh yeah, it's still dark outside, there's no cars on the road, I'm working while everyone else is sleeping, I'm a cheat code, like that's good and well. But it carries on to the next day and you get less sleep, or you wake up in the night. I'm wearing a Whoop strap as well, by the way, which tracks all my sleep, all my steps, the calories that I burn, my stress levels, everything. And I could see it every single day. I'd be less recovered, I'd be getting less sleep, I'd be more stressed, and it catches up to you. And after 7 days of that, it becomes unachievable. And I know people say it's a sprint, not a marathon, which I totally get. But it all depends on what path you're on compared to how fast you're moving. If you're on the right path and you're just, working, chipping away every day, 1% every day, just like the hare and the turtle, hare and the tortoise, whatever they want to say, that is way better than being on an angle, which is not 100% accurate, but it's somewhere thereabouts, and just fucking hitting the pedal because you burn out, you need 3 days off, 4 days off, you lose motivation, you lose interest, you think, oh, this is not for me. Now, I've been listening to a guy that I really look up to. I found him probably 1 or 2 years ago. I've read both of his books. I watch all of his podcasts, his vlogs. He's basically living the life that I want to live, which is he's got a successful podcast, a successful YouTube channel. He interviews and talks to absolutely amazing, interesting guests, philosophers, doctors, celebrities, actors, and the articulation that this man's got and the way he asks the questions are perfect. So I'm sat down here right now. My list that I'm going through is conversational stuff, so it's improving my voice, vocal exercises, warm-ups, and improving your articulation and your verbal recall. So, you get that thinking, oh, what's the word? I get that all the time. Now, in 2 days' time, on Wednesday, I'll have not smoked weed in 30 days, which people watching this might be like, well, I've never smoked weed, it's not that much of an improvement. But for someone who's smoked weed on and off for like 5 years and has a love-hate relationship with it, which is me, 30 days, in my eyes, is amazing. And the reason why I'm celebrating it and why I'm going to brag about it is because I know in my head I won't go back to smoking weed now. No matter if I go to Amsterdam, California, where it's legal, wherever, I won't touch weed again. I won't even take a brownie, an edible, nothing, because the person that I am right now, the 30 days of no weed, no drinking, is my happiness levels are maximized, my productivity is, my ideas are coming up, my body feels amazing, my training's going really well, my sleep's dialed in. And I'm not putting all that down to marijuana, quitting marijuana, but a lot of it is down to it. Now, for a weed smoker, I think the reason I had a love-hate relationship with it is because me trying to be a podcast host and talk on camera and being creative and stuff, weed doesn't work well with me. I get brain fog, I forget my words, I blame it on the weed, and then the next day I'll still wake up and think, oh, I can have a joint. You know what I mean? And I never smoke it in this house. I never buy weed. I'll only ever have it if I go to a friend's house, or if a friend brings it to me and they've got it and it's there, then I'll take it, but no more will I do that. Now I've got friends that still smoke it and I try and talk them round into not doing it, because Josh, the guy who I do the podcast with, he's not a heavy smoker, but he smokes it pretty much every night. Him and his girlfriend, they enjoy it. It probably works better for him than it does me. Like if I was editing on weed, I'd just be distracted. I'd be picking my phone up. I'd be like, oh no, I need to do this. Whereas Josh, I think he's got a bit of ADHD. He prefers to settle down and focus on the task at hand, which is editing, and he's able to focus on it. He hasn't got as much of a passion for it as me. That's why I find it a bit easier when I'm actually not stoned. So anyway, the reason why I'm making this video is because I found a little bit of a hack that's worked for me. Now, if there's anybody in the same situation as me, which is constantly wanting to better themselves, not just money or career, but just personal, like if you've got children or if you've got people that you want to teach, you're a natural teacher, which I believe I am. I enjoy teaching people things that I know, even if it's not a lot. If I learn a little thing, I'm like, oh, I want other people to realize this. Now, I'm not saying this technique will work for everyone, but If you are an entrepreneur style person who's like you work for yourself, you ain't got a full-time job, or even if you are in full-time employment and you use your mornings or your evenings to do personal development stuff or work on the side hustle that you hope one day will be your main job and priority, then I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing and why it's working for me. If you want to use it and try it, fair enough. If not, sweet. But this is what it is. So, like I said, I was listening to videos and they were saying, set your alarm for 6 a.m. every day, have everything set up. Some of them say do 4 2-hour stints. Some of them say do 2 4-hour stints. Some of them say work flat out until you can't work anymore. Some of them say work for 20 minutes and have a 10-minute break. I don't know, but this is mine. So, after listening to Stephen Bartlett, who's got one of the busiest diaries I've ever seen, if you watch any of his vlogs online, Stephen Bartlett has got the Diary of the CEO and Behind the Diary. Absolutely amazing channel. He is flat out. He's an entrepreneur, he's on Dragon's Den, he's constantly in business meetings, on call, videoing, recording, doing everything. Now that man doesn't set an alarm. I don't know if his body clock wakes him up at a certain time every day or if it just wakes him up when he needs it. He's a big advocate of the whoop strap, which I'm starting to get really passionate about it. He doesn't set an alarm. So for the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've stopped setting my alarm. My body usually wakes me up about 7:15, sometimes earlier, depending how well rested I am. And I woke up this morning fresh to death. I've not touched alcohol since my holiday in Morocco, which then I only touched little drops. Not touched weed. My diet's really clean. I woke up today feeling primed. I went on a long walk, came back, I've had a nice healthy breakfast, and now I'm ready to sit down about 10:30. What I'm going to do is I've set my daily lists. Usually, this is my book usually. Don't know how well you can see that, but I just title it like fucking hard work, and then I say what I need to do, or Saturday, or big month, or pull back the discipline, and then I just write down my list of what I feel like I need to do that day. Which, to be honest, when you write a list, it kind of feels like it's something you've got to do. It's a to-do list. When really, this list, you should be like, oh my god, I get to do these things on this list. So let's say I enjoy having an ice bath, I enjoy training, I enjoy creating content. I get to create content today, I get to have an ice bath today, and that's kind of how I write. I don't write I get to on every single one, but I write it in a way of my day is full of things that I'm going to enjoy doing. So it's not a to-do list, it's I get to do this list. Then what I do is, because I've got the personal development stuff, which is stuff like journaling, I've got a journal here, read 10 pages of a book, learn something on YouTube, stretch and be grateful, so gratitude. There's 5 things on there. When I do them all, I tick them off on this list. This is a pretty new list, I've just written out, so there's nothing on there right now. So that's my personal list. Then I've got my social media to-do list. To get on the algorithm on Instagram, it's pretty tricky now. You've usually got to put at least 5 stories a day on your profile, and then at least 1 Instagram reel, or a post, or a carousel, which is like a group of posts. So 5 pictures where people can swipe across. They're all good for engagement. If you can do that daily, Instagram likes you, chucks you on there. So now my daily must-dos is 5 Instagram. Obviously, I've got a private page and I've got my actual Instagram, and I've got the fully game one. So I'm going to try and put 5 stories on every single Instagram throughout the day. Then I'm also going to try and put 1 post, reel or carousel on those. That'll get that in the algorithm. Keep me active. Keep eyes on me. 1 Twitter post, simple. I've got about 115,000 followers on Twitter. It was one of my biggest pulls this year for OnlyFans fans. And then it kind of died off because Instagram, when I was putting the reels on, were getting big traction. I was getting 100, 300k views. So I kind of pulled away from Twitter, but now I need to get back to that. And I've got 2 TikTok channels, the Fully Game Podcast one and the Ellis Lacey one. So I need to put 1 TikTok a day on there, obviously again to get on the algorithm, but also making sure that my content is quality. Don't just put shit on there just for posting's sake. Try and make everything quality. And then YouTube Shorts, I've seen a couple of podcasts this week, and all creators get asked the question, like, what's made your channel blow up? And a couple of creators have been like, well, my channel were on this many followers on YouTube, and it went to this many subscribers within this short amount of time, and I'm putting it down to YouTube Shorts. So a lot of people are emphasizing that YouTube Shorts are the way to build your channel. Now, my Fully Game Podcast channel, me and Josh just post long form podcasts, long form vlogs, and we sleep on the shorts. But when we post the shorts, they can get into the algorithm and get you 20, 30,000 views. Sometimes the podcasts only get 1,000 views. So why sit down for an hour, talk for an hour, post it and only get a couple of 100 views when you could chop that up into shorts, put it out there and bring the viewers to the long form podcast? That's the key to it. And then also message 5 guests for podcasts, because what we end up doing is we think of a guest, oh yeah, they'll do for next week, try and book them in. If it don't work, we'll do a solo one. what I want to do is get the diary full up until Christmas so that we've got set in stone dates with set in stone characters and we can prep and plan properly for the podcast. So that's my social media ones, which I can sit and do now. I can actually schedule posting so that once this list is done, I don't have to worry about this for the rest of the day. Then I've got my conversational stuff, which I try and box off first straight away. It's improve your voice. So I've got in my book here, I've got, if I can find it, so I've got vocal exercises, and this is just to improve your articulation. I think it gets your mouth working properly, and it sounds cringy, but I'll just give you an example of what it is now. It's like badaga padaga bodogo podogo budugu pudugu bidigi pidigi bedege pedege. That's one of them, all for articulation and pronouncing your words properly. Then there's manala davaza monolo dovozo munulu duvuzu minili vivizi menele deveze. Keep saying them, repeating them, do them however many times you want, 20, 30 times a day. That's the vocal exercises for articulation. And then I do obviously warm-ups, and it's like brrr, brrr. Then there's another one which is ba. You go through the alphabet and it's all words that you can do. So A's not one, you can't go but you can do b, k, k, d, 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 f, 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 j, 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 like them ones. You can just go through it and sort of figure out which ones, and you do it obviously. Da, 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 da. So yeah, there's that one. And then finally there's a girl on YouTube called Lady Tina Leder, which is how to think fast and talk smart, timed fluency verbal training. So for this one, you use three letters, F, A, and S. You start your clock, or I just start my video recording for a minute, and within that minute, whilst it's videoing, I try and say as many words as I can beginning with F. So I start the clock, fox, freeze, frost, float, fish, and I'll just say as many as I can, and it just helps you recall. And you do all them. Let's say if I get 27 in a minute Fs, 20 A's, 40 S's, add them all together, 87, divide it by 3, which gets your average 29. Anything above 19 is average, but you start improving it. Then if you start repeating the same words daily, like the words that begin with F, you can go on to topics. So let's think, I'm going to say words related to holidays. Go, sun, sand, bikinis, nightclub, beach, pool, lifeguard. Say all them, and then you just do it again. You could do 3 different topics, add them together and get an average. All them things are going to improve my conversation. And then finally, my personal development stuff, which is journal, which I've got here. I've been writing in it now for about probably 2 or 3 months, every day pretty much. Read 10 pages of a book, learn something on YouTube. It could be an editing task, a sales thing, it could be whatever you guys are into, drawing, painting, cooking, whatever. And then I stretch, and then I practice gratitude, because one thing that I've really struggled with in my life, probably from being a teenager to now, is being grateful for things. I've always been that guy who's looking at the goal of where I want to be. Let's say if it's, I want to have my own house, drive a Range Rover, have 100k in the bank, and then when you get there, you're like, oh shit, now what? Now I want a Ferrari, I want to buy a villa, I want to do this. You're constantly going to be moving the goalposts. So, and then you never enjoy the journey. And then you're never happy, you're never truly satisfied, you're always wanting more. And if you live your life like that, by the time you get to a certain age and you've got everything you've ever wanted, you look back and like, fuck, I missed something there. Like Stephen Bartlett talks about this a lot, because he went from being a student, living rough, searching down takeaways, sofas to try and find change to eat. He actually got more joy out of finding £13 in a takeaway sofa than he did for selling his business for 250 million, which shows if you're not grateful for the journey, everything is just pointless, and it's going to be a very sad ending to your journey once you get there. So I'm trying to practice gratitude. I've got a lot in my life going on which I'm extremely grateful for. Family that love me and take care of me, and they're all healthy and fit. I've got my own house, I can drive, I've got a lot of assets that I use to make my business, a mobile phone, a warm house, hot water and stuff like that, which a lot of people take for granted, but a lot of people don't have that necessity. What I try and do is practice being grateful for stuff now, and I've struggled up to now, I'm not gonna lie, but all these new things on the list are like a couple of weeks old, so I'm just starting to get to grips with them. So practicing gratitude, it could be something simple, just sitting here for 10 minutes, or getting pen and paper and just writing down everything that's good in your life, everything that you should be grateful for, and just having a little look at it and being like, not just writing it down and being like, oh, that's done now, like actually feeling it, like, oh my God, I am warm now. There's people sat outside, homeless people who've can't afford their eating because prices have gone up. Like I should be really grateful for this, and I've worked hard to get this. So I'm grateful for myself, and I'm grateful for I've actually got it and actually feel stuff. And that's it really. So just to run through that really quickly, it's just what I'm going to say is don't stress about getting up early and getting things done, because your productivity levels do definitely drop, especially if you get something like a Whoop strap, which I would recommend to anybody because it tracks absolutely everything. Your HRV, which is, so when you take a breath, if you put your hand on your heart and your heart rate speeds up. When you breathe out, your heart rate slows down. So the HRV is the difference in time, or the difference in beats, breathing in and breathing out. When people do breath work, they'll breathe in for 4 seconds, out for 6. It slowly slows it down. And when you're sleeping, it's trying to measure that your exhale is longer than your inhale. So it'd be that'd be a healthy breath, that'd be a healthy HRV. So it tracks all that. It tracks any movement in your sleep, how many calories you burn, your stress levels, how intense you could take your day depending on how recovered you are and how good your sleep is. They're not expensive. I think the watch itself might even come free if you buy a membership. I think I paid for the year and it was about £119 for a year's membership. If you are interested in getting one, I'm going to put a link in the description, which is my affiliates link, which if you use my link and buy a watch, or you pay for a month, I get a free month subscription and you get a free month subscription. So if you are going to get a Whoop strap, which I do recommend, I'm not just saying this is like a sales point of view, if you are trying to better yourself whilst looking after yourself, I definitely recommend these Whoop straps. Look into them first, do your research, see what athletes and professional people use them. Do all your own research, find out for yourself, but definitely use that link because then we both benefit from it as well. But if you can, not setting an alarm, letting your body wake itself up, sleeping in a nice, cool, dark room that's noise free. If need be, put some earplugs in, put an eye mask on, do whatever, take some sleep remedies before, not sleeping pills and Xanax, but you can get like magnesium tablets and real herbal tablets from Holland and Barrett, which it'll help you fall asleep and have a deeper sleep when you're in there as well. And then scheduling your day, it's just write down your list, what you want to do, what you're going to enjoy doing. Be grateful that you get to do these things on a list. Make sure you're moving the marker by 1% every day and just staying on that right path, not having 2 days off because you need it. Just try and do something every day. There's some days that I don't feel like doing things. There's some days that I don't do things, but most of the time I do. And I stick to this journal every day. Even when I go to my girlfriend's for a couple of days, I'll still take that with me and I'll still give myself little tasks. I know I'm not going to get much done on a Saturday and Sunday that I'm at my girlfriend's house, but I will put the things that I think I should do and want to do and that I need to do for my business or for myself, and I'll just make sure I do them. So yeah, if anyone's got any questions about self-development, improving their life, being productive, finding something that they really want to do or that they're interested in, or a goal, any questions related to OnlyFans, training, anything like that, don't be afraid to ask me. I'm making these videos mainly for myself to practice articulation, talking to a camera, using words and finding words in my mind that usually be a bit foggy now that I'm, weed free, and also trying to help people if there's anybody in that same situation as me and they're like, shit, this might actually help you. Also, if you get a chance and you want to really develop yourself, buy Stephen Bartlett's book. And I'm not on no commission here, I'm just telling you that when I was in Morocco, I bought the Diary of the CEO book, which is a big white book with black font on it, black and gold font, and it's amazing. When you read that book, don't just read it and be like, oh shit, yeah, that is good, like that's amazing. When you read it and you find stuff, write them down. There's the power of question behaviours effect, that's one thing I read in there. There's the habituation wallpaper effect. There's ending encounters, how important it is to end an encounter on a good note. The Goldilocks effect, which I won't spoil it for you, but all these things are in that book and they're all skills, sales, conversation, mental health, everything. That book is absolutely fantastic. So if you get a chance and you've got 15 quid, whatever it is, buy that book, take notes, read them every day, work on your craft, get your shit down to a T, and let me know how it goes.